Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hey my love, welcome to today's episode. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. If you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who are returning listeners, hello, welcome back. Last week I don't know if you noticed, I hope you did. I haven't released any episodes because quite frankly and honestly, I just didn't feel like it. My kids were home for 10 days for Passover holidays, and it was just, I don't know, I just felt so good. I just felt so good with them at home. All of us had a great rest. We all napped and we had lots and lots of sleep. And I just have given myself the permission to slow down and just, not to force myself to do things that just didn't feel right. One of the things I find with this episode is because you can't really see me, you just hear me, you just listen to my voice, there's a lot of energy that you are picking up from me. And so if I am energetically not there, you would feel it, you would know. And this is not how I want to make you feel. So I decided to just let myself off the hook and I'm coming back at you this week again. And today on the show, I wanted to give you almost like a response for last episode where I talked about giving yourself the permission to sleep in and with a clear conscience without any responsibilities for just one day. And what happened was I shared it with this friend that I was talking to you about, and she responded to me. And I wanted to share this response with you because I have a very strong feeling that if she's thinking and feeling this way, and if you resonated with this message, you might also benefit from it. So I wanted to do it on this show for everybody. So here's how it goes. So she listened to the show and she says, "Thank you so much for the podcast. Now I understand you. I will have to work on myself to get the guts to do something like that, or at the very least have half day to myself." And then I responded, "Do it. You owe it to yourself and to your family. I'm noticing that the more I take the stand for myself, the more my husband is willing to do the same. And you know what's bizarre? It even affects our bottom line." And I meant here actually how much money we bring into our home, because we're not operating from survival mode, but for a thrived and rejuvenated state. And so she says, "Confession. I know if I would do it to my husband, then he will want to do it as well. Not sure if I can handle the kids on my own for full day and overnight. Last night, my husband left for business and will be back tomorrow noon. I'm already tired and overwhelmed, and this is with my in-laws here to help. This is so shameful to me to admit. I can't believe I am telling you this." So, of course, I've recorded a separate response to her, and I'm not going to share it here, but what I wanted to share with you is how, first of all, I really, really, really understand. I really get it. And I know that this show is all about your health mission and your really sacred work at home of keeping the energy contained and the energy positive in your home so that your home can be a place where everybody blossoms and flourishes and restores and rejuvenates and rests, so that they can then do the work that they're meant to do in the world, right? And so if I'm thinking about myself, in my home, it's my husband, it's me, and then our 3 kids. So our 3 kids are still growing, they're, developing, they are changing constantly, they're learning. And then there are, us 2 adults who are building and creating, and both of us are doing work that is very soul-based. My husband is he's also a service provider. He also is he's also self-employed, and his business is all about servicing mission. He calls it mission promoter. He loves servicing people who are mission driven, who are either coaches or healers or people who help to make this world a better place with whatever services they do, whether it is, whether they have a yoga studio, or if they're a chiropractor or a physiotherapist, whatever it is, whatever service it is that people provide. My husband's service is to provide them with the online marketing, the education, and also with he creates websites for them. And he sees his work as a form of art. And I want him to continue to provide this service from a place of love and service, and really I want him to use his gift that he has, because my husband he's an artist at heart, and I really do see the value in what he brings to the world. And the same with me. The work that I do is a very soulful work. It's a very deep work that I do with women, with my ladies, and it's a very transformative work. And so for us to be able to continue to live like this, and for us to continue to feel like this is nourishing, and that this kind of life is sustainable long term, energy matters. It matters, right? I would never be able to provide the kind of service that I do provide today if I was burnt out, overwhelmed, anxious, and just living in a fog mentally, because my clients would feel that, right? And I think it's not only with my work. Every time you work with people energetically, we can feel each other. Even if you don't say a word, your energy is something that is felt. And so I believe that, and this is why the show is called Health Begins with Mom, is because this is our job as mothers, as women, really, and this is our power. This is our power. And it's not to say that our husbands don't have that capacity and ability. Of course they do. They are a very active player in this game, if you will, right? But I do see from my own life, and also from the life of my clients, that as women, our role in our homes is irreplaceable. It's something that I feel like only we can bring to the table. And so when you are telling me that your husband might want that same level of self-care, in my personal opinion, and I remember in the beginning how it felt, it didn't feel good. But now I understand, the more I've done it, obviously my husband wants the same, and I'm thinking to myself, yes, why not? I am actually proud of this, because I find that the more I take the stand for myself, the more I give myself permission to show up, the more he can do this for himself too, right? The more he can open up his shell, the more he can open up the more he can open up to his feminine energy and not needing to always be in his masculinity, which is, it's amazing, right? It's amazing. And masculine energy is more, get things done. It's more linear. It's like the go, not showing weaknesses. I'm strong, I'm capable, and all of that. And that's beautiful. And of course we want our men to be like that, but not all the time. Because what happens is when they, or even us, right? I work with many women who are a lot more in their masculine than they are in their feminine. And what happens is they are constantly driven and go to the point that they don't rest. They don't rejuvenate. And when this happens, we get sick. We eventually find ourselves being confronted with a health crisis. And this is something that, quite frankly, it scares me. It scares me because I have read enough, I've listened to enough, I have seen enough in the world to see that there is kind of like a pattern. I've seen enough to kind of get to the conclusion that when we don't take care of ourselves emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and of course physically, then the soul, the way our bodies, the way our soul communicates is through physical pain and through physical aches and through physical crises and through physical ailments. And this is something that I will never be able to live with. If I knew that that the reason for why it happened, it's because of my smallness. It's because of my inability to think a little bit bigger, to be a little bit more courageous, and to think outside of my box, to maybe give myself more tools, to maybe learn some new techniques or strategies to take care of myself and to have a bigger container for the energy in our home, so that the people around me who I love the most don't have to get themselves so ragged that they suffer physically. I mean, how many times have you seen husbands who get really, really sick, or who all of a sudden just can't work or can't function? I've seen it in my marriage as well. And again, I'm not saying that this is, that it's always our fault. Of course not. I mean, life is so mysterious and it's so esoteric that you can never say, oh, this is the reason why it happened. But in my situation, I knew that the way I was showing up in my home, the level of constriction I was living in, the level of fear, that my energy was just not, I was just not courageous in healing myself and giving myself the permission to do certain things in a way that will make me feel happier in my home, in the way that will make me smile more and kind of like radiate a more positive energy around me, so that it's pleasant to be in this home. I can tell you that in the beginning, when I just started my journey as a mom, my daughter was sick all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean it. She used to get, the moment I put her into daycare, she was about 12 months, it was 9 years ago. The moment I put her into daycare, she started getting sick every 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks with strep. Always strep. And in the beginning, I thought to myself, well, it's normal because, she's been home with me for a year, and then once I put her into daycare, obviously she's going to get sick. And yes, it's totally normal. But then why is it so often? And then why is it always the same thing? And I've done everything I could with, the food, with the nutrition. This is how I got into this industry to begin with. If you know a little bit of my story, I started this journey with helping my daughters, helping to boost my daughter's immune system. I wanted to change her diet so that she doesn't manifest these illnesses. And that 100% helped. I eliminated dairy, I eliminated gluten, I eliminated red meat and sugar and all of those, high inflammatory foods. But what I've noticed was that the most profound change happened once I started to notice my energy, how I was behaving in our home. The more I worked on myself, the more I started reading. So for example, the work of Dr. Shefali Tsabari was very, very influential in my life because it had opened my mind and opened my awareness to realizing that I had to heal some of my own childhood wounds and traumas. And as long as I don't heal them, I will be continually perpetuating rage and anger and just this feeling of annoyance and just not happiness in my home. I remember the moments when I just had strong resentment and strong regret of even becoming a mom. And all of those things, I couldn't even believe that they are happening to me, because more than anything, I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a mother. And so why are all these things happening? So I had to be really, really honest with myself and really face my fears, my deepest and the most, the scariest of fears. And as through this process, the more I've done it, I've realized that the people who I love the most are responding to my energy. And one of those ways, for my daughter at least, is through getting really, really sick, and through her immune system was just suppressed. And this is totally a topic I'm so fascinated about. I've actually attended a seminar a couple of weeks ago with my husband here locally in Toronto. We've seen Dr. John Demartini, who, if you don't know Dr. John Demartini, he was one of the people interviewed in the movie The Secret. Totally a must watch, by the way, if you haven't yet. And he talked about the immune system as the seventh sense, because the immune system responds to the energy that we have around us. I think this is such a brilliant topic and concept, and I have personally experienced it in my life. So unfortunately, I can't give you more data because I haven't yet read the book that he mentioned, but I'm definitely going to get my hands on it and give you more, to expose you more to this education. But this stuff it's actually a thing. The way we show up, the way we feel, the way we respond, the energetic field that we create in our homes affects and the quality of the relationships that we have affects the health of the people who are surrounded by us, right? So for example, the example that he gave, how many times do you know, let's say if you think about a marriage, if there is if the marriage is not happy, if there is no happiness in the marriage, if there is no satisfaction of the marriage, how many times have you seen one of the people in the marriage, just their health starts to decline over time? it's almost like from the higher self, there is like a strong sense to degenerate and to disintegrate because energetically something is not working, right? I know this is woo-woo, believe me, I know, but this show is all about woo-woo, right? But it's really things like these that that if you're a mother, for sure you have noticed. Another example from my client's life is actually she has 3 children, and she recently went through really serious losses. Her grandfather passed away, and then her parents went through a very difficult divorce, and her children, all 3, got really, really sick. And it's nonstop. And the reason is, and that's what I had to kind of bring to her attention, is because the levels of stress at home it's too much. It's too much for children, and children many times they pick up on that. And so I think our responsibility as women and as mothers and as wives, of course, is to be aware of this energy, and to sometimes I feel like I want to say rise up to that. Rise up to this responsibility, because it is one of our responsibilities, right? The energy that we create in our homes. And so let's go back to her comment. If my husband would want this too, then I wouldn't be able to handle it. Well, first of all, ask yourself, why wouldn't you be able to handle it? Can it be that you don't believe that this feels hard, and then you don't believe that you are able to do hard things? I personally believe that we can do hard things, and that we were built for hard things. So if this feels hard to you, well, put your big girl pants on and just do what you need to do, because it's not just about you. It's also about your spouse, right? It is about you showing him that you care, that his health matters to you, right? And then the other thing is to remember that in a marriage, you are not in a competition. You are not competing with him. This is about feeding each other. It's about remembering that what's good for me, good for you, good for him too, and what's good for him is good for me too. And it's about rooting for each other. It's about lifting each other up. It's about helping each other rise together. It's about supporting each other. It's about lifting each other up. And so, yes, maybe in the beginning, for the most part, I feel like or at least what I know from the traditional families that I have around me, most of the time it's the mom who is in the home taking care of the children, and then the husband is the one who is providing and going outside of the home and, bringing the income. And so many times mentally and maybe emotionally, it's us women who are the most out of balance and the most out of alignment, energetically. And so in order to raise our frequency and energy up, it's us who need to start this whole wheel turning, right? And so it's us, like our last episode, I talked about actually giving yourself the permission to step away from your home, finding a way to rest and rejuvenate. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, tune into episode 101, where I talked about where I actually shared tangible examples of how I did this, and how now after that, after I started doing this for a while, my husband and obviously as a result, I started to respond better energetically. And once my husband sensed that I am stronger, then of course he also started asking for time away. And I was actually so happy, because I felt like this is my creation. Like, I did this. I have showed him by example, by modeling, that it's okay to take some time off. And honey, if you need to rest, please do it. And so my husband right now, he is in the process of actually booking a trip for himself to go away for a whole week without me, all by himself. And maybe a year ago or maybe even 2 years ago, I would be so upset. But now I'm not. Now I'm actually pushing him to do it. I want him to do it because I know, first of all, he's going to be a better person. He's going to be a better husband. He's going to be a better father. He is amazing already, but he's going to be even better. And also he's going to produce more, and he's going to be more productive at work, and he's going to have better ideas, and he's just going to be healthier. He's going to get more sunshine, and it's going to be amazing. And hopefully one day we will get to the point where we all can travel together. It will happen. But again, it all begins with you. It begins with you, and it begins with me. So today I'm going to leave you with this. Take responsibility. Take ownership for your energy. Number one. And then take responsibility and ownership for the fact that you, for the most part, are creating the energy in your home. And if this energy is healthy, and if it's positive, and if it's nourishing and life-giving, then your family members are actually going to be healthy. Physically, they are going to feel better. And, we all want that, right? We don't want our kids to get sick a lot so that we don't have to stay home. We don't want our husbands to get sick. We don't want ourselves to get sick. We want to all be happy, vibrant, and just energetic, and just to help our bodies be well so that we can do the important work that we were destined to do in the world. So my love, if this message resonates with you, please let me know. Find me over at Instagram. Find me, I go by @healthbeginswithmom. Send me a DM. Let me know what you think. You're also welcome to email me. You can email me at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And let me know what you think. Let me know what are your thoughts about this episode. If this is resonating, if it doesn't resonate, if you agree, if you disagree. I want to know it all. Today, obviously, I've shared my opinion, and it is biased, but I'm open to hearing what you think and what are your ideas about this topic. So, if this show is interesting and if you love it, please rate and review the show. I'm noticing that more and more people are doing that, and that's amazing. Thank you so much. So the way to do it is from your iPhone. You can find the podcast, so Health Begins with Mom podcast, and then find on the app, there's actually instructions on how to leave a rating and a review. And by the way, if you're outside of the US, I won't be able to see your review. So if you can please snap a picture when you submit it and send it to me over at Instagram. You can maybe tag me so that I can see it, and I can say thank you. Maybe the next show I can say thank you and also share it with my other followers over at social. All right, my love, I hope this message has served you and you found value in it. And I'll catch you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.